Montreal. Hey, there's a term called burn the boats. And being all in, the Red Blacks burned the boats last week. Moving on from Drew Brown, traded away. Jake Maier is the leader of this team.
Yeah, and Ryan Dinwiddie, the head coach of the Ottawa REDBLACKS, saying they have a lot more issues than just quarterback right now. It's part of the reason why they have not found the win column as it stands coming into week number 4, playing 2 games with a bye mixed in there as well. And Jason Moss, head coach of the Montreal Alouettes, fired up as ever, especially after an overtime defeat against the Edmonton Elks last week on the road. Montreal extremely happy to be back here at home at Percival Molson Stadium. Obviously, heavy hearts in and around Montreal with the events in the news this week, but the Alouettes trying to bring some joy to the area, and a great crowd here on a Sunday night for CFL action to round out week 4. Here we go with Brett Lowther putting foot to ball and dropping it down to Mario Alford as he crosses the 30-yard line and then knifes past the 40. And we get an opportunity to see Davis Alexander after the 21-yard return.
There's a couple of things to love about Davis Alexander last couple of weeks. 5 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, but the guy's got 7 30-plus plays. What are those explosive pass plays? A lot of them to Tyson Philpott. This guy can use his legs to escape things, and he's going to look for some of those downfield shots. Been real fun to watch what he's done so far this year, Marshall.
Davis Alexander, I think a lot of people going, well, he had a loss, but he must have played poorly. Well, not so fast. 29 of 44 last week, no interceptions. 350-plus yards as Stevie Scott back in the lineup gets the carry inside as Stevie Scott factoring back into this Montreal rushing attack after Travis Tice played main character last week.
Yeah, and that's kind of great. They got the flexibility to have Stevie Scott and Travis Tice, two really good running backs. A little bit different how they do it. Stevie Scott back from an injury, so Tice will get some rotational plays within this system to keep both guys healthy.
And right away, we see Travis Tice lining up at the tight end at the bottom of your screen as Stevie Scott in the backfield. So the 2 running back set early and often here for DA as Alexander rips it out to Tice in the flats. And he fights his way across the 55-yard line. Weller in that time for the first Alouettes first down as we get a look at their starting attack.
Tiger Shanks has done really good things on film. Started from UVille. UNLV drafted last year. That right tackle looks solidified for a long time. And Tyson Philpott, first in the CFL yards, receptions. The guy's averaging 130 yards per game. Hey, Marshall, somebody double team that guy. Let's go. Can we get double coverage on that guy, please?
We were trying to figure out if they box and won him or what are they doing here? All sorts of different things to try and slow down Philpott. Is this one complete underneath? And it is Philpott on the receiving end quickly from Davis Alexander as they get off to a quick start, something they were aiming for here in week 4 to set the tone against the REDBLACKS without a win.
Yeah, this is what's real good about Davis Alexander. This is a little bit of a zone read play. You guys roll it, go ahead, and you're going to have a player right out in the flat underneath, so the quarterback can use his legs, take that quick underneath throw. He doesn't have to wait for the timing or everything. You know, you got to play contain. Hard what you do when the Alouettes have so many good athletes in the backfield.
This time they'll bump Stevie Scott out alongside Travis Tice in a great defensive play as Alexander hits the turf. All right, the Ottawa defense is climbing the ladder at that time, and knocking it down was Bennett Williams.
And Bryce Carter, one quarterback sack this year. He's got to pressure, get some pressure on Davis Alexander. Love the motor on the 4th-year player. Speaking of pressure, CJ Rivas, 10 D10 tackles, 2 knockdowns. Get this guy blitzing the quarterback. Get him out there. And everyone in REDBLACKS Nation excited. Amari Henderson back. First start of the year. Should provide some stability. 2nd-year player for the REDBLACKS after a couple years in Saskatchewan.
After the incomplete pass, 5-man pressure, and Alexander rifles this one underneath, incomplete. And you just mentioned CJ Rivas as he was the closest defender on the play, and it should force out the punting unit. And it will. Or is it? Yeah, it's actually the field goal unit. Yeah, Jose Maltos Diaz came out. I saw Joseph Zima coming off the sideline, but a long attempt lined up right off the bat here for Maltos Diaz.
We don't want to say it, but there's the stats right there, 11 for 11.
This one from 49 yards away. Zima to holds. Louis-Philippe Bourassa from the University of Montreal, the snap. And doink! Off the uprights. Way to go, Lapo.
goodness.
Altos Diaz.
11 in
favor of Toronto because of pair picks.
Yeah, 2 touchdowns, 2 picks, 484 yards last week. You can see there. You know, the thing that's got to really happen for this team is find ways to create some explosive plays, but also get a run game going so it's not all on Jake Mayer.
And up against it, against this Noel Thorpe coached defense for the Montreal Alouettes, as we see the Red Blacks attack that will try to get on the scoreboard early and often here today in Montreal.
With the cutting of Martez Ivey this week, Zach Pelios gets his first start this year back at the tackle position he played last year. And Benjamin Victor, replaces the hurt Eugene Lewis. Last year with the Elks, 32 catches, 330 yards, 1 TD. He's got some big shoes to fill, but he'll plug in for the injured Eugene Lewis.
Ed Neverhard lines up tight to the line of scrimmage. As Mayer with play action looks to Justin Hardy, but pressure's on, giving chase and just having to dump it away as Josh Archibald was all over him. The original pressure, I think, was coming in from Isaac Adiemi Berglund, the standout Canadian defensive end. And a flag comes out late as well as we get a look at it.
The biggest thing you have to have an understanding is all these zone read plays that all these quarterbacks are doing is they're reading a defensive end. Some of the defensive ends in the league are just so athletic. Isaac Ademi Berglund, he just recovered. As Jake says, I'm going to pull this football because the end crashed. Berglund, the throw is not available. Berglund recovers and is able to force Jake Mayer to throw the ball away. So good coverage in the back end.
Contre Ottawa numéro 13, ça va être 3e essai. Intentional grounding, Ottawa number 13. It's going to be 3rd down.
So that'll back them up as well. Just a little bit here, and it leaves Ottawa with a quick 2-and-out to get things going offensively in the Drew Brownless era, if you will, on the roster, on the sidelines. High spiraling boot sent away by Noah Getman and drops down to Alford inside his own 10-yard line. That was a 62-yard punt from Noah Getman. Sensational in the rain.
Good defense. I got a bunch of playmakers. I think Anthony Calvillo and Jason Moss and this offensive staff do a really good job also, Marshall, protecting this quarterback. A lot of screen passes. They get the ball out of their hands quickly, so he doesn't take too many shots downfield, but they are controlled when they take them, and they can hit Tyson Philpott for some of those big ones.
Aaron Casey, the former Toronto Argonaut, up onto his feet after covering the special teams kick down the field. But the crazy thing as well about having Davis Alexander with so many completions in a row without an interception, he's not a guy that's throwing it 6-7 yards down the field. He likes getting vertical, and Calvillo and Ray as well, I should say, with Jason Moss, they love letting him open it up and take those shots, right? So to take vertical opportunities without throwing an interception gives even more credit to his decision making.
You talk about short passes, then a deep shot shows up.
And Alexander begins this drive with a little handoff and a hop, skipping a jump from Stevie Scott. The flag comes out at the end of that one as well.
See this call.
Bloc légal, les mains ont été portées au visage. Ottawa numéro 1, c'est une pénalité diverse. Ça donne un premier essai à Montréal. Legal block, hands in the face. Ottawa number 1, it's a 10-yard penalty, makes it a 1st down for Montreal.
Niles Morgan, the linebacker, gets the hand all the way up, and Jacob Mason right in front actually pushes him back into Stevie Scott, which is what brought down the ball carrier.
Can't put your hands on the face mask, and it's a dangerous thing to do. Snap that neck back. Got to protect the players in the game.
And mix and match. Mason, Stevie Scott, and Tice early on, and Davis Alexander drops the snap here, gets back on top of it, so harmless and fortunate it's on 1st down, not 2nd, to kill the drive.
I think this is a little mixture of Stevie Scott being new to the game. As Stevie Scott goes across, does he bump into Davis Alexander to knock this ball down? Good recovery by Davis to protect this ball being a huge turnover. Nope, doesn't touch him at all. He's just, you got to look the ball into your hands. Hard thing to do for some of these quarterbacks. The game is so much you catch the ball without the laces and throw it immediately. Sometimes it's going to put yourself in bad position.
And we're just talking about Calvillo. How good was he at catch and release, right? And the quick game as they throw this one backwards, and Tyler Snead could throw it, and he chooses to hang on as he bounces off a tackler, reverses field, and now gets a wall of blockers, and out in front, Tyler Snead cuts it back, and on second and long after the loss on first down, it's 21 yards for Tyler Snead.
Creativity is awarded in the Canadian Football League, Marshall. This is a double pass. How you knew this was a double pass is because the bubble is Snead. It's a lateral to Snead. You can see him looking downfield. Do I have anybody? Nope. Now I'm going to take off, start running, and when you change direction on everybody, it's difficult. Snead is a diminutive guy, but he's got great feet, great change of direction, but great instincts of not taking the deep ball that wasn't there.
Snead makes another grab on this play, 1st and 10, and picks up about half of it.
I used to always talk to the players about, hey, if we call a special play or a trick play or whatever you want to call it, just because we call it doesn't mean you throw it. And all we need on this play is a 5-yard gain. It's no different than throwing a hitch for a pass. So great by Snead to go, hey, it's not there. I'm just going to get what yards I can.
Is that why when you had Andrew Harris in Winnipeg, sometimes he would just throw it out of bounds incomplete because he didn't have a running lane? He didn't have a, right?
That's football IQ. Yeah,
right. You
don't want to lose yardage.
As Alexander hands it off inside, knifing down the hatch on second and short. Solid run. Stevie Scott always leaning forward downhill to get a fresh set of downs.
Really good work here by Nick Callender and Pierre-Olivier Lestage. Just denting the defense. Stevie Scott starts pushing front side. He sees that crease develop, hits it back inside, gets his shoulders north-south. You know, at 6'1", 230, these Big Ten backs, bigger physical guys, they're gonna hit you, and it's gonna turn into a 7-yard gain.
Well, they must have loved what they saw in practice, because right back to the heavy workload they go for Stevie Scott in this first quarter at home for Montreal after their loss to Edmonton, as Alexander flat-footed grips this one outside. One-on-one Tyson Philpott caught it at about 6 yards and gets the rest all by himself.
One of the great examples, again, what the Alouettes like out of Davis Alexander. You're going to get both receivers to the wide side of the field running deep, and then Tyson Philpott's going to come underneath. You see the two deep players, everybody's carrying the deep players, nobody's underneath Tyson. He recognizes immediately, gets it out to Philpott, and you know Philpott with the ball in his hands to the wide side of the field, is going to get extra yardage. Good checked out, good decision on a shot play, taking the underneath throw.
Taking a close look at it here, and it looks as though they will send out the chains to measure. By the way, that Tyler Snead little bubble, he actually threw a completed pass to Austin Mack on that back in 2023. So it's something they've run with Snead occasionally, and they'll decide not to measure, just go with the first down.
Good pull, Marshall, right there.
But also,
23. All right.
I bring it up because it looked like a little bit of maybe a Team Canada flag football play where you
don't know about that.
You bubble and 2 quarterbacks.
Yep.
Never say never. They set up with a fresh set of downs after Philpott gets the yardage required just by a foot. And this time it's Marco Dubois as a flag flies, and Dubois goes right down that left hash. We'll see what the flag is. Looks like it's coming back with a holding call, as Dubois had 2 targets in Edmonton last week, 0 catches. He had one there, but it'll get wiped away by the penalty.
Montréal, numéro 59. Penalty diverse. On va répéter le premier essai. Holding. Montreal 59. It's a 10-yard penalty. We'll replay the first down.
Cyril Hogan-Sedan, right on the inside of your screen at the center. Looks like as he's going to make the block, you can't get your hand that high up. You can see it right there. If you're going to have your hand all the way above and reaching like that, that's always going to be called for a hold. You got to keep your hands inside and lower.
Battling to try and maintain Michael Wakefield on that snap. Draws the penalty, has had a bit of a double move, and now Alexander over the top. It's Alexander Hollins in the end zone! Touchdown Alouettes! Deep ball, Davis strikes from 54 yards away.
Great execution here. This is what we talked about. Montreal, short play, then a shot play. But the legs of Davis Alexander is what creates this opportunity. Some of these deep downfield shots takes extra time to beat the zone. He climbs the pocket, knows where the touchdown is. Alexander Hollins, great time and space by Hollins for the huge touchdown.
8 plays, just over 4 minutes, and Davis Alexander, big time throws down the field, 20 yards or more.
Davis Alexander had the time because he climbed the pocket for the great play call designed by Jason Moss and offense coordinator Anthony Calgary.
Khalil Pimpleton with the return as he gets out beyond the 50 and eventually is bumped out of bounds by Maltos Diaz. Tyson Philpott, we spoke plenty about his excellent start to the season, tremendous pace, the hottest start since 2024 when Alexander Hollins at 402 yards the first clothes, unfortunately. It's like nobody loves to see dealing with a shoulder injury right now. He of 28 touchdowns over 5 seasons with his time with the Montreal Alouettes, of course now an Ottawa REDBLACK, but the REDBLACKS offense up against it as they gain some yardage after the penalty and the nice return from Khalil Pimpleton. So without Gino, they'll go to the ground game and quickly downhill. It is Greg Bell as we take a look at the always complicated Montreal defense.
Isaac Ademi-Berglund really has got to get going in the sack department, trying to get his first sack of the season, but high motor, high energy. Love to see this guy. 2024 most outstanding defensive player, Tyrese Beverett, back after missing last week. Hey, and a couple of new guys. Injuries to both Cavianento, Lorenzo Burns puts Don Callis and Fayon Hicks out at the corners. Watch the REDBLACKS take some shots at these guys.
And Bell spins back into traffic. Didn't have it on first effort, but bounces off a couple of players to pick up the first down for Ottawa.
And this is what's got to happen for the REDBLACKS. You know, you watched that film last week. It's too much for Jake Mayer to be just throwing the ball all the time. They did not get a lot of yards rushing last week. 29 yards for 2.6 yards per gain. They need to get some of this stuff going to take it off Jake Mayer. He's making plays every play in the pass game, because otherwise the defense just going to tee it off, play coverage all game, and force you in a difficult situation.
And I believe that is Greg Bell that is still down on the turf right now. So a ball game here on 1st and 10 after Bell did pick up the yardage required. And we haven't said the name Justin Hardy yet. Aiden Eberhardt. Still options in this Ottawa offense, and they've got to get going as Bell goes into the 10th. Keelan White fake on the little jet sweep, pressure on from Ademi-Berglund again, and this time they'll bring him down. Mayer couldn't get rid of it as they'll clean up the flag. But Isaac Ademi-Berglund has been everywhere in this first quarter.
Little play action pass here. Didn't fall for the defensive end. If you watch, the tight end's trying to control it. But then Ademi-Berglund from an inside position, he recovers, doesn't fall for the little play action pass on the speed sweep, contains the quarterback. Jake's got nowhere to go but go down and protect the ball and take the sack.
I'm not sure if that was a substitution error because of the Greg Bell injury package coming in, or just a formation alignment assignment problem, but they did not have an end on the play, so that was the flag.
I don't think the end man line of scrimmage reported, because they had an end man line of scrimmage, but he was an ineligible number that didn't report.
Perfect. So 2nd and 19. Jake Mayer with 4 receivers available, and he'll float this one over the top to Adeboboye. Out of the backfield and into a host of tacklers, including Najee Murray and Michael Awe. And when you look at the Montreal linebacking group with a field goal coming, it's like collecting the infinity stones here. You got one of everything.
Yeah, and this is a 2nd and extra right now that Jake Mayer has to check it down to. This is what Ryan Dimwitty talked about all week. We can't be in 2nd and long. Last week, they had a bunch of 2nd and longs. They were 3 of 12 on 2nd and 7+. They cannot. It's very hard for any team to overcome this. They can't get these penalties on first down.
Jose Maltos Diaz was perfect coming in and missed. Now it's Brett Lowther's opportunity to stay at 100%, and he does,
because
with Lewis Ward watching on as he's on the practice roster for the Montreal Alouettes. How strange is that?
This is one of the best stories about the REDBLACKS. Brett Lowther being, you notice I was very quiet on that. I didn't say what he was, but hitting another field goal to start the season. You know, a lot of people raised their eyebrows when they're like, wait a minute, you're cutting Lewis Ward for a guy who's got a worse field goal percentage, but healthy, kicking very well. His kickoffs also he's 5th in the Canadian Football League. You know, when they made the change here, they also, you know, when you make change, certainly, like if you have your punter doing the kickoffs like they did last year, well, when we make a change to the punter, we have to have an answer for who's kicking off.
We get a look at Lewis Ward wearing the enemy's colors from what he used to play against, as Brett Lowther with a long of 51 against Toronto, 24th on the CFL's all-time scoring list. Coming up on Boris Beattie as well, the former Alouette himself. Last year, Lowther started 4 of 8 in Saskatchewan, and now 8 of 8. So on the money in the nation's capital and here on the road to get things going in Montreal, as Davis Alexander goes back to work. His last pass went to Alexander Hollins for a touchdown. This time Tyson Philpott on a quick screen. The Ottawa defense rallies, but good execution and a solid pickup on first down.
And again, I go back to this, and I keep talking about this. This Montreal Alouettes offense loves quick throws to athletic players in space. A couple of linemen pulling out on the perimeter. So you get it to Tyson Philpott on a screen pass to get you to 2nd and 2, which is going to be a high run percentage. And then eventually you do a couple of those, then the shot play is going to come. So I love how this team calls plays to protect the quarterback and get the ball in their playmakers' hands.
Tyson Philpott, 3 targets, 3 catches, 33 yards here early on. Stevie Scott inside. Oh, ran into a wall right at the 50-yard line, which is where he had to get to for the first down marker. And we already saw the athleticism of Bennett Williams jumping and knocking down a pass earlier. This time the physicality to try and get the stop, but it's Stevie Scott one-on-one at the hole. Listen to this.
Stevie Scott, shoulders turned, downhill, right? I know it's 2nd and 2. I'm going to get the yardage I need. Love those Big Ten running backs with downhill shoulders.
Alexander, quick throw outside. And Tyson Philpott, drop step, tries to get to the outside and does. As they run into the Alouettes bench. And again, Anthony Calvillo, we saw a shot of him a couple plays ago, calling things in. Trying to get things going for this Montreal group. There he is, AC, the legendary quarterback. I love this week. He said, when I'm calling plays, it's now like going from a backup quarterback to the starter. Your entire mindset changes. Your week is different. The stress is higher, but he loves game day, still does.
Going tempo here, trying to get this quarterback sneak on a 2nd and 1 here.
Drop
Davis in.
Yeah, right to the right-hand side. But can't you relate to that, Lapham? Like the idea of just, you know what, when you're there and you're positional coach, yeah, I hope everything goes well, but game day, man, that feels totally different when you're at the controls.
Yeah, and you got to be covered for every scenario. And, you know, as a play caller, you're always thinking about a couple of things. One of the first things is when a player doesn't execute anything, you're like, did I prepare them the right way? I always tried to not put it on the players, like, did I prepare them the right way so they could have success with it? And you got to be ready for multiple different scenarios. And the big thing, get the ball in your most productive player's hands, right? Have an answer for blitz.
As flags fly here, and looks like AC will get a chance to call something fresh. Yeah, I think we might have 2 flags on this one because Ben Major's flag actually came out pretty late. I wonder if it's not.
So a lot of
Ottawa 75, it's a 5-yard penalty. It's still first down.
So a lot of times what teams are going to do, and I can tell by how these receivers are motioning, that they don't have a play called. And what do you mean they don't have a play called? They have a dummy cadence right now where they're going to go in a hard count, and then if somebody jumps, they put their hands up and say they jumped. Otherwise, they'll call a play at the line of scrimmage. So good execution on the dummy call right there.
Pick up a free 5, so 1st and 5. Alexander looks to the flats with Tyler Sneed and then decides to rip it just over the head of Alexander Hollins. Incomplete.
Good defensive coverage there, making sure Alexander that nobody there open for Alexander Hollins. Good coverage on the underneath as they move the launch point.
See Will Fields there, the Ottawa defensive coordinator, and I'm also kind of laughing internally watching Davis Alexander still talking. You mean just because they ripped Superman's cape off when Cody Fajardo ran the end zone last week that he's not afraid to keep talking? Shocking. We all knew Davis wasn't going to change once that regular season mark was altered.
Yep.
Blitz coming here from Niles Morgan, and Davis feels it. Can they bring him to the turf? He just chucks it away, underhand. And they'll say incomplete, receiver in the area. The pass was behind the line of scrimmage. And Michael Wakefield stating his case as a flag does fly.
Niles Morgan, watch the pressure, watch Stevie Scott, but Alexander feels this pressure. Niles Morgan comes, it's a one-on-one blitz, watch him knock it back. Davis feels it and then has to move. As that's happening, Tiger Shanks is getting pushed, so it forces him wide. Can't get it, but really good pressure by this Red Blacks defense. We know Niles Morgan can do a lot making tackles, but he can also rush the passer. Some of these linebackers have got to do more than tackle in space. They've got to be able to rush the passer, hold up against the
Montreal
runners.
numéro 10, ça va être troisième essai. Intentional grounding, Montreal number 10. It's going to be third down.
And we've seen plenty of Ben Major, our referee here tonight, early on, and you also see the blue ribbon that he has on this weekend, the officials in support of the police and community. After the news and the events, not just here in Montreal, but a few other places around the country, and plenty of former officers involved in the officiating ranks in the Canadian Football League, and our sport thoughts with them this week as the punt goes out of bounds. And for the first time, we get an opportunity to see Lalonde with more on Ryan Dinwiddie and Kenza. An eventful week, I would say.
Yeah, Ryan Dinwiddie saying this week the goal is to simplify things. So he condensed the playbook, saying he cut roughly 40 plays, sitting about 47 right now. He said the goal was to see clearer execution. So instead of having 5 or 6 dynamic RPOs, he's sitting at about 3, and he wants to see them run well and run really efficiently. And that idea for him and overall mindset is just to be assignment sound. That's what he wants to see from his offense today.
The idea of simplifying things, cutting down, makes a lot of sense. Just execution. Can you find a way to move the football and put points on the board? Teams have been doing it against this Alouettes defense. Tyrese Beverette sitting out watching last week. When he said he hated it because for back-to-back games it's been 30+ against the Elks defense, and the standard is 17 points. Like, we cannot give up more than 17. That's
a lot of big plays too. You know, interesting talking to Ryan Dinwiddie before the game, and I love talking conversations about this. I'm like, 47 plays, huh? He's like, well, you don't count the short yardage and the goal line stuff. So, you know, it is 47 plays on their base call sheet, and then you got to add the 15 red zone and score goal line plays. So a little bit more than that, but certainly being smart, minimizing the play.
Bear turns around, hands it off, and a jump cut here to the outside, going nowhere. It is Greg Bell, though, back into the game, and that will do it.
So, and the Red Blacks had a couple of penalties that force them into second and extra situations, and nobody's going to survive second and extra consistently.
They begin by punting it away to Mario Alford at his own 45-yard line. 50-yard punt and return up around 15 yards. We talked about Lewis Ward being a factor in this back and forth rivalry. Well, there hasn't been much back or forth. It has been very one-sided, as in case you were wondering, a little over 1,300 days since the last time.
I won one of those games in 2022. That's how long it was.
Did you win the other one?
No, I don't think so. I think I won one of those 2.
But it's a one-sided rivalry, but it's interesting in a 19 league. You really don't feel like Ottawa has been taking the back seat to this rivalry, despite the fact that it's been so long. So they've been in plenty of those games, as usual, coming down to the final 3 minutes here in the Canadian Football League, but haven't been able to finish it off as Alexander looks to throw outside. What a beautiful hands catch by Tyson Philpott for the first down.
Tyson Philpott just so good, and because of the explosive plays, you better back up and give him a cushion. Hard play action, and then I'm just going to throw a one-on-one on the outside, because we're going to have to back up because Tyson Philpott's got a lot of shots. This is a deep comeback, comes out of a great location by Davis. That's what you talk about, get nice, easy first downs on first down.
Got the Canadian Air Force logo on those gloves as well. Bright red gloves going here tonight in week 4 as Alexander fakes it to Travis Tyson in the backfield. Pressure is coming off the backside, CJ Rivas, and Alexander floating to his right, gets it to Philpott, who loses his bucket and hangs on.
This is greatness from the quarterback position. Davis Alexander, we talked about his legs already, but he is sprinting to the right. He's running all the way across the field. You see Tyson Philpott right here on our screen here. He's going to come all the way across this field, and he's on the back side of this. He's not even close to where the primary read is. But Davis Alexander's sprinting across the field, and look at that location pushing on that football to Tyson. And then the best thing that Tyson does, Bennett Williams in there to give him a what for, and he's able to hold on to the football.
We'll give it to Travis Tice as the running back who starred last week. Plenty of all-purpose yardage. Bounces his way down inside the 1. But, I mean, yeah, Tyson being able to catch up on the backside is great, but the throw.
The throw was unbelievable, David. I don't know if we could get another shot of that sooner or later, but that was an amazing. He's sprinting to his right, and Alexander then finds it, puts it right on the money, right in Tyson Philpott's hands. Anything else off the framework of the body of the hands, it's not going to be a catch. Watch this right here. He's running to the right, all the way across, and a perfect location. If it's high, low, off to the side, it's going to be incomplete because of the collision.
Short yardage package is in for the Montreal Alouettes. Dustin Crum into the end zone as flags fly, and they will be offside against the Red Blacks defensive line. And the Alouettes increase their lead with Cyril Hogan St. Dong doing the spiking duties.
Ottawa number 8, penalty décliné, touché. Offside, Ottawa number 8, the penalties decline. It's a touchdown.
I always felt that offensive linemen kind of need to go to school to celebrate plays, because sometimes they're just not really good at the spiking and stuff. Here you see Dustin Crum just following the big men. The big men are there's going to be a mass of bodies. You're trying to stay as low as you can, and then you just keep your shoulders moving. Dustin Crum's made a living in that last couple years.
Well,
came over from the Red Blacks last season.
I was going to say, did plenty of the short yardage plunge work for the Ottawa Red Blacks. Bit of a pipeline going with the backup position. Caleb Evans came over, handled short yardage here in Montreal, got injured. And Dustin Crum jumping into the fray in free agency this season. Davis Alexander making a difference. What a throw, rolling to his right to Tyson.
In for the short yardage wedge. So four plays, 51 yards, 2:11 off the clock.
Davis Alexander 9 of 12 for 153 right now. As Khalil Pimpleton returns this kickoff across the 40-yard line, just barely. And Jake Mayer back out onto the field.
And what's interesting, you would think for this football team, Jake Mayer's like, oh, we're playing Montreal. Well, Montreal so far defensively has really struggled in some areas, giving up the most big plays this year defensively, and you know, playing two young corners. Here's a crazy stat about where we are in the Canadian Football League this year. Montreal's the third best scoring defense in the CFL, but they're giving up 30 points a game. Right? That's kind of unheard of, but it just shows how the offenses have started this season, and that's what Jake Mayer is trying to get into.
Well, and you get a look at this defense. Michael Awe, Canton Arcou, Tyrese Beverette. Not an easy assignment for Jake Mayer here in a Week 4 test as he fades away, completing this one out to the right-hand side and cutting back against the grain. Beating that defense is Greg Bell, who picks up a first down.
Hard play action with a downfield shot, but you always talk in your quarterback, you're never going to go broke, put money in the bank. He recognizes nothing open. I'm going to hit as the coverage is lifted, I'm going to put Greg Bell, give him the ball in space, and see if Robert Kennedy can make the play. He can't. Create the first down on first down with throwing the check down. Really good start for this drive.
And still 100%, 3 for 3.
3 for 3.
First down of this quarter is Mayer. Quick little play action flick. Completes this one. Keelan White, second year out of Montana, makes the grab. As McLeod Bethel Thompson with Ryan Dinwiddie back in their time with the Toronto Argonauts. Plenty of experience, obviously, and Dinwiddie telling us this week that he is extremely thankful because when Drew Brown requested to be released and they ended up having to trade him and he goes to Winnipeg, he said, we needed somebody to come in. I just called Mac and said, would you be interested? Is your arm up to shape? Have you been staying in good playing shape? He said, yeah, we'll get you up to speed, no problem.
And they played together. They know the system. He already knows it, so it's an easy transition when he gets it.
Inside run fake once again. This one ripped. And caught bouncing off a tackler. It is Cade McDonald getting the look. First year out of Miami of Ohio. Had to do a double take for a second. I thought that was Tyler Sneed, the undersized outside pass catcher.
Great team defense running down. The ball's caught out in the flat, but they rally up, make the tackle. You got Beverette and company there to create basically a 2-yard gain on 2nd and 7, get them off the field. And McLeod Bethel Thompson, back to that, like this trade would not, I know that there was talk about Drew Brown wasn't happy and there was some eggshells going on. Drew Brown was going to be a Red Black unless McLeod Bethel-Thompson was available.
Right.
So you're going to check that, see if you can get a quarterback that's got experience. Then you can make the trade, make your team better.
Mario Alford returns the punt. Noah Getman getting out the lob wedge that time and hanging it high in the air. Look at the production he's had. If he's not injured, he might have been already most outstanding Canadian and beyond, as his pace for this season is just astronomical. And Montreal begins with an inside handoff, but Tyson Philpott has really unlocked, it feels like, this offense, and not sure we knew it was going to be a perfect pairing with Davis Alexander, but it's hard to argue against it right now.
And a little different, they use him they move him around a little bit, but for the most part he plays to the wide side of the field. So as an offense, they've done a really good job finding ways to get him the ball. And like, this was a stat this week, like the past 3 games is the highest passing they've ever had in, 1,300, almost 1,300 yards in 3 games. Only other times that would happen, Anthony Calvillo and Sam Etcheverry.
Wild. The best of the best in Montreal football history as Alexander goes over the top once again and drops it in, but incomplete. What an opportunity that was for Kasim Ferdinand.
Scott Hutter playing free safety, had 2 interceptions this week, does a really good job coming off the middle of the field and trying to get his hand in there just at the last second. Excellent. Was on the Owls last year, but hey, he had 2 interceptions last week. I want to put a new term up. There's the Canadian Air Force back in the day, the receivers. This is the Canadian Defense Shield. All interceptions by the Redbacks came from Canadian players.
Love it. Kasim Ferdinand, by the way, 4 games played last year, no targets, no catches. In his first opportunity last week at Edmonton, 5 targets, 4 catches. So maybe they were trying to reward his hard effort and how good he looked in that game on the road in week 3. But you are looking at the leader in defensive tackles in 2025 in the entire Canadian Football League, relegated to backup to start this season, but he's earning his stripes here in Montreal once again. Down to Kenzie Lalonde with more.
Marshall, and coming off last week's loss to the Elks, Jason Moss saying at times there were some missed tackles. And Micah Alway has said since the beginning of being a professional football player, he has always done extra tackling drills, whether it's after practice, but he also does one on game day, and that is tackling the goalpost. Yes, he goes up against the goalpost. He said it's always the hardest hit, but it prepares him for in-game.
Love it, Kent. Said he's constantly learning and evolving as well as Jake Mayer fades away, and sure he completed this one, trying to dig it out in front of Josh Archibald. They'll say incomplete. Yeah, Michael Alway is a special player, is the first incompletion for Jake Mayer in this ball game. And talking about tackling, he said he's got teammates that had spoken about, trying to track down chickens in the fields in Texas and all these different things that they use in their offseason to get ready. He is an absolute monster on the football field, but such an interesting mind, an interesting guy to talk to about concepts, defensive, offensive schemes, mindset, all of it. Great analyst of the Canadian game as he digs in the middle against Mayer here on second and long. Tyrese Beverette gets the hit, ball up in the air, and they'll call it incomplete, but Beverette flies around the edge in his return to the lineup here in week 4.
The hard part about Tyrese Beverette is when he rushes the passer, he comes with such speed. You got Zach Pelios in his first start. You're going to see right off the edge, late, he's going to come up and then blitz off the edge. But watch Zach Pelios. He doesn't do a good job getting his hand. He lunges at him, creates a short edge, and Tyrese is right around him to make a play. There's no opportunity for Jake Mayer to find this ball downfield, but the speed, dip underneath the right tackle and make the play. One of the reasons Mike Alway, obviously not starting, because the play of Tyrese Beverette coming back puts Geoffrey Canton-Arcou at the middle linebacker, right? And now you've got some guys that can really rush the passer and do a lot of things.
I mean, take a look at that bench there as we see the injured Red Black down on the turf and getting looked at. But that shot of Noel Thorpe talking to the linebacking crew is good to see. Looks like up onto his feet, the Red Blacks receiver. But I mean, that group right there, Micah Alway, you talk about a leading tackler, a true middle linebacker, a downhill or a thumper. Tyrese Beverette is a little bit of a defensive back slash linebacker. Canton-Arcou is a bit of a defensive lineman slash linebacker. It's almost like a Venn diagram, if you will, of overlap. And they all happen to play linebacker.
AJ Gass had a bad linebacker back in the day, watching that video with them going through. And this team is loaded at some of these skill positions. Here's a name, Tyrell Richards, who plays mostly special teams, but you know, he was tied for first in the CFL last year in special teams tackles with Alexandre Gagne, who is also tied for first in the CFL. So there's a wealth of depth at these positions, and that's why you see so many different pieces from this Montreal Alouette defense. The Will linebacker at times, he's got to play free safety. The Sam linebacker, the strong side linebacker, sometimes he's going to roll to free safety. That's why it's difficult to play this team. They give you a lot of different looks dropping out into zones.
Ben Major has a call for us.
Ottawa avait demandé une révision du dernier jeu. Suite à la révision, il y a rudesse sur le passeur contre Montréal, numéro 96, une pénalité de 15 verges. Ça donne un premier essai à Ottawa. Ottawa had challenged the last play for roughing the passer. We are calling roughing the passer against Montreal 96. 15-yard penalty, first down for Ottawa.
26, you have Tyrese Beverette, so they took a look at it here and I guess got up high on Bear.
You know, anytime in the CFL, it doesn't matter whether you say, well, that wasn't a hard hit or whatever. If you create a blow that hits a quarterback or any player, you're not allowed to hit a player in the head in any way, shape, or form. That's what draws the penalty.
Bear tries to go hard count, get a look at the Alouettes defense, and checks in.
Better get it off.
With Justin Hardy. Has just got the snap off. As you say, Lapo to the outside. Good throw by Mayer. And on point, Keelan White down the right sideline. Gets hacked out of bounds. But a big pickup and connection that time from Mayer to White.
It's great to see Keelan White getting this nice pass out in the flat. This is just an out route. You're reading what happens, right? You're going to see an out route with two verticals, and you just read what if everybody lifts, I'm going to take the out route to the wide side of the field. This is thrown very well. Najee Mary's not in a position to make it. Keelan White makes him miss. They've moved Keelan White into slot, and they think he can be a dynamic player in this offense as he's moved him closer to the ball this season.
Crowd is into it as well as Mayer has to check at the line of scrimmage, and he looks into the end zone over the top for a Neverhart jump ball incomplete. Good defense that time from Kennedy III, playing at field halfback here tonight in his third year at NC State.
Yeah, Robert Kennedy was a week 1 hero with the pick 6 in week 1 and the forced fumble against the Hamilton Tiger Cats. He's a deep player. He's got good positioning. The biggest thing you have to do as a defensive back in the end zone, just be calm, make your jump ball, don't get your hands involved, don't create a penalty on a ball that's not going to be caught.
Critical moment late in this first half for Jake Mayer and the Ottawa REDBLACKS offense. Blitz is on, pressure coming. Throw into the turf. Mustafa Johnson couldn't be stopped.
Multiple defensive pictures, different things happening. When you look at the start of this play, I'm going, what are they doing up front? There's only two defensive linemen. What happens? You start twisting. Carton-Arcou's coming off on a twist. So you have multiple guys. Gets the offensive line confused. Jake Mayer's got nowhere to go with the football because the depth of the pocket is destroyed by the twist.
Tell you what, that was a 300-pound man, and the big moose, Mustafa Johnson, he got real skinny real quick. Goes Canada. They will play the winner of that Netherlands and Morocco game. Again, that is tomorrow, and then the next match for Canada is Saturday in Houston. For Team Canada, the men's soccer programs. Quick screen out to the left-hand side here. Tyler Sneed adds to his tally on the day. By the way, Toronto hosting a Portugal versus Croatia match on Thursday. As someone who lives in around the GTA, mayhem.
Nice.
Portugal playing in Toronto is going to be crazy.
Well, there's a lot of screaming up here when we were watching that game when Canada scored the goal as we were prepping to get ready for this game.
Feel the energy around the program. Difficult loss in the final group stage match against Switzerland. And that Swiss team plays in Vancouver as well on Thursday. As inside handoff, Stevie Scott picks up the first down. Churning the hard yards. Not the explosive stuff that we saw by a running back that played against Montreal last week in Justin Rankin, but Stevie Scott earning it snap after snap.
So 3 explosive plays already in this game, but this is what you get a lot of. They're controlling the line of scrimmage. They're getting 2nd and 2 to 3 so they can keep running the football, run the clock, keep the ball away from the Red Blacks offense.
Cole Speaker onto the 6-game injured list, as well as Jarrett Stearns after he broke the 100-yard mark for the first time in his Alouettes career, coming over in free agency from the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. And so there are some pieces missing for both sides already early in the season, but that guy doesn't care. He's just ripping it all over the field.
You know, and this is part of the course for Jason Moss and his team. They've got the fewest 2 and outs in the Canadian Football League because they're in so many 2nd and shorts and so many short control pass games.
Alexander over the top, double move. Tyler Sneed fading. Looking for the old Willie Mays over the shoulder grab, but couldn't track it down.
A little bit of an inside move by Sneed, pretending I'm running a dig, and then he just breaks vertically up the field on the shot play. Shakir Brown gives up a little bit inside position, but he's able to trail and stay with Sneed.
3.5 minutes remaining here in this first half. Ottawa keeping it manageable the way they did against the Toronto Argonauts last week. Plenty more turnovers in that matchup. As Alexander looks to his right, quick throw and incomplete. Not sure if he got bumped on the release. But CJ Rivas, as always, in close to the action. Pressure on here from the Red Blacks. Good job up front getting after Alexander.
A.J. Allen coming off the edge. CJ Rivas coming in, providing, trying to hurry up the throw and get something. Forces the errant throw on the outside.
And whistles blow this play dead before it comes to life as the 3-minute warning after the rainstorms rolled through earlier on in the day. But back and forth battle they go. Should be a good one into this second half as Khalil Pimpleton grabs the punt at his own 15-yard line and makes the most of it after a 44-yard punt. And so the Ottawa Redblacks get the football and an opportunity here to tighten down the screws a little bit on the gap for Jake Mayer, trying to make a statement and hold on to his starting quarterback job.
Trying to get in, get something going before the half. They're in a pretty good spot for the explosives they've given up, that they're only down 8.
Again, the multiple looks this defense can throw. This time it's just Beverett and Kenton Arku playing in the middle, and the pressure gets there again. The Ottawa offensive line having a heck of a time as Daniel Wise this time follows up the early action by Isaac Adeyemi Berglund and the most recent sack by Mustafa Johnson.
One-on-one, you got to handle your one-on-ones here. Sean McEwen gets beat, gets bench press off. And as Jake doesn't have time to throw his check down, they've got to find ways to get the ball out of their hand quicker, give him easier throws, or get better protection. It's hard to protect inside at times.
They'll go with a safe pitch this time, just screen it out.
And this is exactly what we talked about already. Ryan Dimwitty said last week we were in 2nd and long too much. Once again on 1st down, not getting any productivity, forcing 2nd and long. You're going to be off the field when you're in 2nd and extra.
Well, the biggest thing is, well, when you're always trailing, right? Like through the first couple of games, Ottawa has yet to hold the lead, and coming into here where it basically did what he said. It was the simple plays, the easy stuff on 1st down that were setting us back and causing headaches. And a quick 2 and out will add to that tally as Alford, after a 58-yard punt, the veteran from West Virginia heads down the left rail, and a big special teams tackle, but Alford right in front of his special teams coordinator, Byron Archambault, flips the field and gives life to the Alouettes with 2:06 remaining in the half.
Conduite répréhensible contre le banc d'Ottawa, c'est une pénalité diverge, d'où le ballon est mort. Premier essai Montréal. Objectionable conduct against the Ottawa bench. It's going to be 10 yards applied from the end of the play. 1st down for Montreal.
Not sure what we can see, if we can see how this happened. It might have been a coach too far on the sideline that an official ran into. That's one of the new rules have been strictly enforced. But a huge return to the wide side of the field by Mario Alford sets Montreal up in great field position before the half.
21 games with the Alouettes back in 19 and 21. As Alexander down the right side. Easy money. Tyson Philpott. As Davis Alexander, did he take a late shot after throwing that dime on his feet and gingerly walking forward with a flag down in the offensive backfield?
Having a system of plays that look alike to distract the defense. This is a fake screen pass, which they've already run to freeze Shakir Brown, and then you're going to go ahead and get the shot. They fake it and then throw it deep, and you can see the shot Davis Alexander takes at the end. It's dangerous position when your foot is planted.
Yeah, Mufta Ejili, I don't think there was any intent there, just trying to make his way to the quarterback, and the helmet hit the wrong spot at the wrong time. And
crumb time.
It's great to see Davis up and moving around smoothly right now on the sidelines. Tough as anyone in the CFL. But Dustin Crum comes in as they add the penalty yardage on. And Crum with his second plunge of the ball game. Looks like they'll spot him just shy. Those are the scary ones for the quarterback. Standing in the pocket when the helmets start dropping in and around, but Alexander doesn't look too
Niles Morgan is the one who does this. The line gets low, and watch Niles Morgan. He's just going to jump, and he'll stop the momentum of the quarterback so the ball doesn't cross the line. So excellent play by the linebacker. When you're breaking down film, you want to know if that linebacker is going to be a jumper and jump over and go a different direction.
And they go Travis Tice this time in the backfield at quarterback.
Little worried about this flag, though, Marshall.
Yeah.
9 times out of 10, this is going to be probably a defensive player for being offsides.
Hors-jeu, Ottawa numéro 8. Ça va être redevient premier essai Montréal. Offside, Ottawa number 8. Once again, it's going to be first down for Montreal.
Spot on, Lapo. They get a fresh set offensively here after getting stuffed to back-to-back plays.
They called CJ Rivas for this being offsides. And it's pretty easy to tell when you're at the 1 yard line what this is. Difficult penalty, crucial mistake here at the 1 yard line.
All of a sudden it feels like a long one, but Crum goes and gets it. Touchdown Alouettes. They extend their lead before half, due in large part to 2 big plays. The Alfred return, and then down the right sideline to Tyson Philpott.
You go down the right sideline. Why? Because Niles Morgan jumped twice and knocked your quarterback. So now this time, all right, you see big Niles Morgan right there? Nope, I'm going to go off tackle, make it harder for Niles Morgan to jump into that space. So good execution on the off tackle quarterback sneak. Another huge drive right before the half to put points on the board.
And the separation right now in the East Division between the Ottawa REDBLACKS and the Montreal Alouettes when it comes to the win-loss column comes down to little sequences like that, right, Lapo? Just the idea of Ottawa, chance with the ball in their hands, 2 minutes to go. They go 2 and out, give up a sack, and then all of a sudden flip the field with special teams, and then it's
Michael Bishop for the veteran CFLers.
Now we're talking
all these
cameos from the veterans.
Yes, all these former quarterbacks.
Who's the best fixer in your coaching career that you were working with?
Best fixer?
Yeah. Think it over, no pressure. Attaboy.
Kerwin Bell.
Get it over, there it is, with Cleo Pimpleton, and tracked down from behind. Special teams effort that time.
So with 1:28 left, like there's a little bit of situational football that has to happen for Ottawa. Ottawa obviously wants to put some points on the board. They're not far away from a field goal, but the worst thing that can happen here is 2 incomplete passes, punting the football, and leaving more time on the clock on a short field for this Montreal offense. So it's real important they get points on the board, yes, but they've got to also make sure that they don't give Montreal another opportunity offensively.
Looks deep and then finds on that right sideline hiding the diminutive Khalil Pimpleton, who gets blown out of bounds by Najee Murray. And Jason Moss
got a late flag here too
in the line of fire as well on the sideline. So in short succession you've seen Davis Alexander get popped down low, and now Jason Moss, even without that helmet on.
Why you love these the smaller guys out on the perimeter, with there's so much space, if they can make one person miss, it's going to be big plays to the wide side of the field. That's a huge play right there by Pimpleton. The lower power strength is so good. Jason.
Rudesse, Montréal, numéro 26. On avance de 15 verges.
That guy's taking a hit or two.
Roughing, Montreal 26. Will go up 15 yards. First down for Ottawa.
I mean, putting salt directly into the wound because Moss is going to rip him in film as well. For
Davis Alexander checking on his head coach. Yeah. Hey, how you doing? And he's going to say he's fine, right?
Bad
Late
penalty,
right there,
but
knocking Eberhardt into his head coach.
Gives Ottawa good field position here at the end of the first half. This one, absolute light beam that bounces off the hands of the intended receiver.
And this is one of the things about like the Red Blacks offense, how they got to play it with Jake Maier as their starting quarterback. Jake Maier's not going to create with his legs. He's just not going to be a scrambler. So everybody else around him, when he locates the ball, finds the right guy, when they pick everybody up, you got to catch the football. Like, it has to be perfect. You got to move people out in zones, find the open player, but then you got to finish your job. You're not going to get the scrambling from Jake Maier.
Blitz coming from the secondary. Najee Murray couldn't get there. Maier goes vertical, underthrown, and intercepted. He was looking for Khalil Pimpleton, but instead it's a turnover for Fayon Hicks. No, actually, that's Wesley Sutton.
Sometimes these wide side throws downfield, you want to put it on a rope instead of trying to throw it over the top. And what you're going to see is the safety is moving off this hash. It looks open early, but it closes quickly because the safeties do such a good job. And you can see that happening. Great move by Wesley Sutton getting underneath. The ball's got to be on a line if you're going to try to put it there, because Sutton's going to be over the, it's in the air too long. Sutton's right there to make the play, and a great takeaway by, once again, the defense of the Owls.
Wesley Sutton celebrates, and the Alouettes defense doing their job so far here at home in week 4 with a minute to go. It is Davis Alexander back in the ball game.
And for the Red Blacks, one of the things they have to perform better at and is certainly the turnover margin, right? They've got 2 games this season. They've had 5 turnovers in each of those games. So if you're turning the ball over 5 times off at you, you're just putting your defense in a difficult position. And once again, you're close to field goal range on that last one. Now you get no points with the turnovers. They got to clean up the turnover margin.
Cyril Hogan St. Don, the center, in for Justin Lawrence, who's on the injured list. Digs in and makes the protection calls as it's coming, but quickly out of Davis Alexander's hands and into Tyler Sneed's for another completion. As this looks like it will be just shy of the sticks, or will it?
I think it's going to be a 3rd and short on the quick little hitch play. So I think they're going to go tempo right here as fast as they can once it gets marked.
Timeout, Ottawa.
Well,
Timeout, Ottawa.
Gotta love referee Ben Major, because Montreal wanted to go quickly. Davis Alexander was all fired up, Lapo, and Ben, as he's making that call, is walking over the football to make sure it doesn't get snapped.
Right, that's part of their protocol, and the reason the Alouettes, they're trying to get this first so they can conserve as much time to try to see if they got 41 seconds get down in field goal range.
They won't say it, because they know that Davis Alexander being undefeated in the regular season really didn't mean anything. Eventually he's going to lose a game or whatever. But don't you feel like the Moss-Alexander combo is kind of on another level of fired up here tonight? Like, you come home off of a loss, play in front of your crowd.
Yeah, and Tyson Philpott in the mix.
Right.
Makes it a lot of fun. A lot of fun in games here.
Not that Alexander and Moss are ever not fiery, but calls like this deep in your own end, plunging forward on 3rd and short. Showed it. Like, that is a really interesting call at the end of the half, because it's guaranteed points and a field goal going the other direction if you don't move the chains, but they do.
I think it's a much safer call. As a play caller who has done that before, than people think. You're like, we're backed up. When it's 3rd and inches, when players line up a yard off the ball, you should trust your offensive line. You should say, hey, I'm not going to leave. I'm not going to leave any opportunity to punt the ball back to Ottawa to get any plays before the half.
Alexander once again with Travis Tice and Stevie Scott in the backfield alongside him. We'll hand it off to Tice. Wrapped up and rolled down. A host of Red Blacks tacklers. Lapalese, you got something you got to do at halftime? What do you?
So I have to run down at halftime as a Team Canada
You
men's
busy?
national team. Is
Going to the concessions? What are you doing?
No, we have a 8-minute inter-squad scrimmage with our team, so I've got to sprint down to the sideline and be ready to call a flag football game.
Amazing.
I'll see you later.
He's done this whole half standing in the booth in Team Canada flag football shorts and high top.
But this has been a regression. This is the second play on offense for them, a second and short, and it turns into an intentional grounding, throwing to an offensive lineman. And look, Jake Mayer's been under pressure all night. He's taken 3 sacks. There are a number of plays that he's had to throw away, and when he has had time, he's had trouble finding receivers. I mean, he's only thrown 6 passes at wide receivers all night so far in the first half of the game. And you look at who gets the targets on Ottawa for their first 2 games. Aiden Eberhardt at 18. He's got 1 tonight. Gino Lewis at 16. He's not playing tonight.
As Jose Maltos Diaz sets it into the sky to get things rolling. Second half action underway to round out week number 4 as Adam Aboye into his hands, and he'll power his way around the corner out past the 40-yard line. And we get an opportunity to see Jake Mayer come off the sideline and try to get this offense flourishing once again.
Pretty good completion percentage, but one of the things that this team's got to do better is take some deep shots downfield. Montreal hasn't allowed a bunch of those.
Are you out of breath?
A little bit out of breath running up the stairs.
Are you a method actor, or is this real?
This is real. This is real old age trying to run upstairs.
Good job, buddy.
No elevator up here.
Mayer, I'll give you a breath. Underneath, Aiden Eberhardt. And driven through the turf by Joffrey Kenton Arcu. And here's why my man is out of breath. Flying. Although I will say the execution, the game plan with the fence, not ideal.
Yeah,
also,
the shorts are pretty good. Yeah,
but
yeah,
you didn't get much of an assist with the fencing
yeah, this
here
guy
at the
was
bottom.
like, buddy, can I get in here? He's like, no. Right?
Machocha was loving seeing you down there at field level. Got that. His name we haven't said very much of in this ballgame with Micah Awe making the tackle. There's Justin Hardy on the receiving end from Jake Mayer.
First catch of Justin Hardy tonight, and I do want to thank Danny Machocha, who set this all up, giving our opportunity for our players to play here. We have a lot of players on our team, men's and women's flag from Quebec. It's a huge. This is me coming back up the stairs, a little bit tired, more tired. I am in the shorts. I am keeping that we never wear pants on the air because you can see us from top up. Have to do the shorts today.
It's a top 3 challenge to get up the stairs here. Percival Molson, maybe the thin air of McMahon would be on that top list of difficult stairs, but I sympathize with you. As on 3rd down, they run the football here, and Greg Bell does pick up a fresh set. But that was great to have your team out on the turf and to see the support as well from all the Quebec fans. So many Quebecers on your club as well.
Yeah, it was really good to see. You see Greg Bell here. It's 3rd and short. You don't call a lot of these wide zone runs because the opportunity for a negative yardage play, but sometimes they're great to get the ball away from all those big bodies inside. So nice run. Hey, Ottawa's been terrible this season on 3rd and 4. Doing a great job with it. I don't know if you can see my shorts.
Yeah, you want to show them the sweat marks on the dress shirt?
Right.
Stairs are undefeated here in Montreal. This one slides out of the hand of Jake Mayer. That was, you ever go 3/4 of the way through the swing out on the links and then realize that it's just not going to work for you, and all of a sudden it's a bit of a shank? I think that's what just happened.
Not a lot of golf for the football coaches working all summer long. So, no, but it just comes out of his hand weird. Whether he's trying to change the launch point based on Debbie Berglund's hands coming up, it just misconnected to force another 2nd and long where they've struggled all night.
Pressure look from the Alouettes. They bail out, but they do blitz Wesley Sutton off the edge. Complete underneath. Keelan White has to turn. And looks like he does have enough for the first down. Good battle from the young Canadian receiver.
And really good patience by Jake Mayer, understanding, like, there's a lot of guys standing at the line of scrimmage before this ball is snapped, but the protection holds up. And then you got Keelan White, who's just going to come up into this space, and he's going to sit down in zone. You can see the defenders dropping out of the zone, and they can't, Micah Awe can't find where he is.
4 targets 4 catches, including this one for Keelan White.
Little tempo here, calling the plays quickly, a little bit quicker for Ryan Dimwitty, get some rhythm. Quick hitch pass, just a 6-yard throw, get the ball out of his hands quickly into Keelan White's hands on the inside.
13-yard gain up to 14. As another pressure look from the Alouettes, and they bail out from the other side. Going to the back end, and it's caught! Justin Hardy walks it into the end zone. And I think this was a single step in the wrong direction. Lapo from a linebacker bailing out from pressure that just opened the window, and Jake Mayer was able to knife it perfectly to Justin Hardy.
You always talk to your quarterbacks about, as people are dropping out, you're going to see Tyrese Beverett. This is a blitz, but they're zone blitzing. So as everybody runs to their zone, there's huge creases. So then they try to react to the ball. Tyrese Beverett, one of the best in the business, just can't recover in time. It's a great throw, great concentration by Hardy, catching it on the back shoulder, spinning in for the touchdown. So great execution versus the zone blitz coming by the Alouettes.
Tempo works into the end zone, go for 2. Mayer, hands off, going nowhere, all over it. Immediately, Isaac Adeyemi Berglund. The Red Blacks.
Couple of pressures by Montreal. Jake Mayer makes them pay, being out of position when they're dropping into the zone for the touchdown. Good response in the second half by this Red Blacks offense.
Mario Walford on the return, and another big play, that time on special teams by Bennett Williams, as he continues to fly to the football regardless of what unit he's part of. And out comes Davis Alexander here with his first touch of this second half. And again, Davis looked a heck of a lot like Davis of 13-0, didn't he, in that first half? Just getting it up and down the field, making the smart decisions, moving around.
Yeah, and I remember talking to Danny Machocha when Davis became a starter last year, and everyone's like, you're moving on from Cody Fajardo, and he's like, it's not about Davis, it's about our team. You just got to protect, make sure he does the right things, and let the players make the plays. Sooner or later he'll make his own plays, but he doesn't have to win the whole game himself, and that's what he's done so well by protecting the football, using his legs. But more than anything, the players believe in Davis Alexander, and they can see how he plays, the effort he plays with, and he puts his body on the line for these guys. And you know, like Jason, very similar to that guy right there, how Jason Moss played the game.
It was interesting. Anthony Calvillo said he never called guys in the offseason, maybe once or twice. Davis talks to everyone all the time, all year round. That's the type of leadership stuff that he is naturally good at. And he's got everyone on the same page. He was on the same page with Stevie Scott on the route and the throw, but the catch just not there, and it will be 2 and out.
Team that has the fewest 2 and outs in the CFL because how much of their short passes. So a rare 2 and out Alexander, but just got to catch. Stevie Scott did a good job. Just got to catch the football when it's located.
The other interesting thing that Calvillo talked about was he basically said, I don't have anywhere close to the arm strength that Davis Alexander does, so it's actually harder for me to play call for him because I have to try and understand that he can do things I never had the chance to do.
Yeah, I don't know. I've gone against that guy a long time, and he had arm strength. What a great kick right there.
Beautiful. Cowboy hat and shorts weather, maybe?
No. I'll have some cowboy jeans.
Jake Mayer with the football after a wonderful punt by Joseph Zima, and Joffrey Canton-Arcou brings down Greg Bell, but not until he has a gain of up around 8 yards on first down. So ahead of the chains here, the way they like it with this Red Blacks offense. They've been behind so often this early season.
Defensively for Montreal, this is a pretty good, you know, the first half only giving up 23 yards rushing. Last week they gave up 201 yards rushing. I know that's an area of concern for Noel Thorpe and his defense. Hey, we got to stop the run better. Last week they just, you know, talking to Noel before the game, we just missed Justin Rankin a couple of times, and that's going to happen. You got to make your plays when those great backs get the ball in space.
Canton-Arcou with 3 tackles here tonight. He came in with a league best 18. Late to rally to that one as well, but a first down for the Red Blacks offense as they rely on the ground game that time. Extra offensive lineman in with Samuel Carson.
Spread people out. Give him a chance, and watch this one cut. Boom, puts his foot in the ground, gets north-south. Shoulder square for the first down yardage. You want backs who can put their foot in the ground immediately and get north-south and shoulder square. Get the big run on the outside zone play.
Red Blacks with 5 first downs in the first half, already 5 here. here in the second. As Mayer looks to throw, he does to the outside. It's Daniel Adebaboye one-on-one with Wesley Sutton. Stiffy throws away Sutton to the sideline and picks up the first down. Adebaboye always getting those backup scrap reps, but always makes the most of them.
A lot of misdirection in the backfield. You've got a speed sweep going in one direction, you're faking inside zone to the other, and then you leak Adebaboye out into the flat, get the ball in his hands, let him make people miss. Love Daniel. He's a great football player, great addition last season for the Ottawa REDBLACKS. As a special teams demon and a running back.
Such a strong low-to-the-ground runner is Adebaboye. This time they go with a jet sweep. It's Aiden Everhart trying to get around the corner, and the free agency pickup from the BC Lions spoke to this week and said he was very aware of the challenge of the Montreal defense, how unique they are, how much pressure they bring, how confusing they can be. Good way to neutralize that, I guess, is just getting his hands going around the corner.
Yeah, you always call this conflict of assignment plays. The line's going to the left, but then you flip the ball to the slot receiver to the right. So you're trying to protect some of those runs so the defense, the speed of the defense goes in one direction, you create space for a receiver going the other direction.
Empties it out 3 by 3, and underneath, diving for the first down marker, it is Justin Hardy, as we welcome in viewers on TSN 3 and 4 who were just enjoying Canada winning again against South Africa.
Sure, there's a lot of people watching that replay because that was an amazing win.
Stefan Eustáquio playing the hero today. The question is, in the round of 16 against either Netherlands or Morocco, who will be the next Canadian soccer hero?
Pretty good drive going so far by the REDBLACKS here. Usually when you flip the field and flip midfield, Noel Thorpe is going to like to bring pressure and start lining up other people because he's getting mad you're moving the ball so much.
He's wandering people around already on cue. Lepo is now Pimpleton catches to the outside and makes it all the way down to the 30-yard line, and a late flag will tag on more to the end of that play. Is again Pimpleton, 5'8", 162, and finding a way to churn out extra yardage.
Jake Mayer, great understanding. You can't cover every zone, but sometimes people are going to leave this widest part of the zone available, and the quarterback's got to locate it. Great location, great timing, and then here comes the late hit at the end. Just too close to the sideline. You always talk to your players, escort them out the sideline, don't deliver a shot there.
And here's where Thorpe gets creative, right?
Yeah, usually, you know, this has been a long drive. You know, he has been hurt by some zone pressures the last couple drives. We'll see what he wants to do.
Line up with 2 defensive linemen, Ham on the ground. Bring 5-man pressure underneath. Justin Hardy on a slant route, catches it. He gets down to around the 6, maybe 5.5-yard line.
Little bit of man coverage, a little bit of pressure scenario. Jake Mayer sees it, gets a slant over inside of Willie Sutton.
And tempo worked for the last touchdown to Justin Hardy. They'll use it again here quickly to the line of scrimmage. Handed off Greg Bell, right-hand side. And Montreal's defensive line sliding with the blockers up front and making the play. It looks like Wal Uguak was at the bottom of the pile. It's Daniel Wise climbs up off this Percival Molson turf. And now it is 1st and goal to go.
Bringing in an extra fullback, as we can see Anthony Goslin, interior player coming in, get a little bit extra players around the line of scrimmage, box area.
Goslin, the longtime REDBLACK, 9th year out of Sherbrooke. 4 receivers available. They'll fake it inside the Bell, slant route, one-on-one, and did he hang on to it? Keelan White into the end zone, touchdown REDBLACKS.
One of the reasons you love bringing guys, more people into the box, the more players you have to design in the run game. You see all these extra bodies. You have an extra fullback in, you bring a couple of slots. That leaves one-on-one on the outside. You see all these in, and then Jake Mayer can say, I've got the one-on-one opportunity. I'm going to take that one-on-one opportunity when it shows up. Fayon Hicks gets beat on the inside slant. Great read by Jake Maier, just taking the one-on-one throw on the outside as everybody's in to stop the run.
The extra point from Brett Lowther misses. And so the converts, whether it's 2 or 1, now a compiling issue for the Red Blacks, but they needed a touch.
Red Blacks.
And Dinwiddie dialing it up here in this 3rd quarter. Closing down the gap. You can feel the momentum, and also a bit of an emotional moment as well for Jake Maier after that touchdown to Keelan White, going into the end zone to celebrate with his teammates. It seemed like he was kind of saying, wake up, guys, we're in this one.
143 yards and 2 drops. Really good response.
Keep in mind all this season.
Yeah, and they've just, you know, if there's not huge explosives, this team is going to get the ball quickly. On 1st down, they're going to make sure they don't put themselves in a lot of 2nd and extras if not. So quick passes, screen passes, get it to Tyson Philpott, let these athletes run with the football.
We talked about Ryan Dinwiddie cut plays out of the playbook going into this game to simplify things, bring it down, focus on execution. You see the number of options there for Jason Moss as he goes deep. And Maier Dinwiddie fired up, talking it through after a successful 3rd quarter. Drew Tate stand in the background there as well, former CFL quarterback. And now Ottawa's defense jumps.
Montréal 62, penalty de Saint-Verge. On va reprendre le premier essai. Procedure Montreal 62. We'll go back 5 yards. It's still 1st down.
2nd time this stutter cadence or this cadence has worked. But this time they're going to call it the hard count. The Tiger Shanks moves first.
I mean, the calendar jumped out at the end. They called it on him, but I think everybody, including Ottawa, thought they were walking backwards, as if they were guilty.
Interesting. They're trying to, the battle of the points goes on, and I'm sure the replay center is now going to help this take a look and make sure who went.
And they're already looking it over before the call's even made.
At it as it's happening to assist. You can see them right now confirming whether somebody stepped back or not.
I've actually been fortunate enough to be in the replay center for a couple games where they're looking these things over. It's amazing how fast the play's not even done, and they're already ripping through the footage of a play that happened 10 seconds ago. Here's our referee, Ben Major, with the clarification.
Bon, il y a une correction. C'est pas procédure, c'est hors-jeu contre Ottawa numéro 95. Pénalité de Saint-Verge. On reprend le premier essai. So it's not procedure, it's offside. Check. Offside Ottawa, 95. 5-yard penalty. We'll replay 1st down, and there's 3:41 on the clock.
That's what it looked like. There's a lot of math.
Got it.
A lot of math into that. A lot of math problems going on, but Baldonado went early. Jeez. Yeah.
They clear it up, go back to action here with 3.5 remaining in the 3rd. Alexander takes the run, tries to throw the slant in behind. And got popped up in the air. Who got their arm up? Was it Agili or Wakefield? Someone off the edge making the play.
Getting you that 2nd and 5. The part of those, hey, when guys are going to get the ball out of their hands this quickly, can you do anything in your power? Look like a jelly did that. If you can't get home on the rush, get your hand up and knock the ball down.
Alexander 2nd and 5. Same look, this time he gives. Stevie Scott dances over one tackler. Nice coming downhill to make the play was Scott Hutter, the free safety at a Wilfrid Laurier University.
And you love these calls. 2nd and medium, 2nd and 5 in the Canadian Football League is probably 85 to 90% throw the football. So you get a run play. Even if it gets 4 yards, Marshall, you're going to end up 3rd and 1 where you're going to do the quarterback sneak. So a good call by Anthony Calvillo here. You know, kind of breaking tendencies, going ahead and getting an inside zone play on the 2nd and medium.
Haven't said Tyson Philpott's name in a little bit. Is he due? This time they'll skip it out to Stevie Scott, who bounces back inside and goes head over heels. Ball came out, but they'll say he's down. Hutter making the argument otherwise, but Byron Archambault, the special teams coordinator, says the elbow had hit the turf, causing the fumble.
Another one of those multiple screen plays where they just flip it out. Getting Stevie Scott on a little swing pass. try to get blockers outside for him. But really good contain. Coming up is Marcus Barnes, forcing it back inside, creating a new sideline.
Montreal lost 2 of their 3 fumbles on the road in Edmonton last week. And that one inside to Steve Scott as well on 2nd down and medium. And so at midfield, Davis Alexander looking at the sideline and hoping they'll stay aggressive, but with Byron Archibald on the turf, sending out Joseph Zima, it will be the end of this drive for number 10.
Red Blacks huge stop on 2nd and short, getting penetration, giving the ball back to a very resurgent Red Blacks offense.
And Alexander not thrilled about how that drive went, clearly. Will Pimpleton tries to make some magic for the Red Blacks. And the coverage unit all over it. Alexander Gagne downfield to make the special teams tackle. He's had 1 in each game now, each of his last 5. As Jake Maier hits the turf once again after the 2 touchdown drives in this 3rd quarter and sit with just 5 incompletions. And Ottawa possession time in the first half, just 10 minutes and 46 seconds. In their first 2 drives, they've almost equaled that. So a total flipping of the script.
Doing it, putting the ball up in the air, giving them, but locating the passes on 1st down, not getting the penalties that back them up. And just playing clean football solves a lot of your problems offensively.
Absolutely. Justin Hardy in motion as Maier takes the snap. Pressure on, looks to the left-hand side, rips this one complete. Aiden Everhart at the 35 and backpedals for a few more.
Very difficult route to handle here. This is going to be a corner route. Watch him start to run the corner, and then he puts his foot in the ground, comes right back to the ball. Right? A lot of people call this a bite route. You're going to run up, start running the corner, right back to the curl.
So imagine defending that one. You're playing with speed like that. As Maier this time, pressure all over him, incomplete. Isaac Adeyemi Berglund right there. Geoffrey Canton-Arcou as well. The Montreal front not slowing down at all here, despite the fact Ottawa turning up the Jets a little bit.
A little bit of pressure here, right? I think you're going to see a little bit of movement here. Just beats with speed around the edge of the defense.
Good coverage as well from the Alouettes down the field as Maier had to hang on to it. And it should be the final play of the 3rd quarter. A 3-point ball game. As Noel Thorpe dials it up on 2nd and 10. Throws it up for grabs down the right side, and just a little bit of miscommunication that time.
10 minutes of time possession and only 15 total yards for the Alouettes in this 3rd quarter.
They could use the big leg of Noah Getman here to try and pin Montreal deep as the pressure got there close. Changed the launch angle just a little bit as it hangs on Getman and drops down to Mario Alford. Great special teams coverage down the field. As Ottawa right there on the spot. Marcus Barnes, the first to make contact with Alford. Davis Alexander back to the controls. You can guarantee he spent a quarter break talking things over with Jason Moss. Anthony Calvillo saying that his favorite thing about a young Davis Alexander, if he's not already young, younger, was hopping on the tablet immediately after every drive and just asking endless questions. He says he hasn't changed one bit despite the success in his early career. Outside to Tyson Philpott he goes, who dances away from the first tackler and the second. Before C.J. Rivas brings him down, but Tyson Philpott dancing in the open field.
Ball out immediately to your playmaker, to the wide side of the field. Lucian's got to make the tackle. He can't make the tackle, too much space. Good step up for the extra short yardage play. Turn into a short yardage play.
Punch their way forward. Tyson Philpott had 7 catches in the first half, held catchless in that 3rd quarter, but begins the 4th with another grab. Moss eyes dialed in on the play call sheet, managing this 3-point advantage. Alexander with a quick peek to both sides of the line of scrimmage. Travis Tice in with Stevie Scott in the backfield. Alexander wanted to send it deep, now just flops it over the top of two defenders. Easy pitch and catch. And after a sleepy third quarter, the Alouettes offense wide awake here in the fourth.
The protection is what creates this, but you have Tyson Philpott. This is so difficult. From the wide side of the field, climbing all the way across, two routes go vertically, and then he layers himself underneath the two deep balls, but great protection by the Alouettes to give this clear out, two clear outs with the deep climb play action.
Tice remains in the ball game. They'll sprint Stevie Scott out and give it to him in the open field. There's three defenders there. And Scott gets what he could, but plenty of coverage on the spot immediately. Is defender down along that sideline is Demario Houston, who needs a moment, and the training staff will attend to Houston, the veteran. Ryan Dinwiddie over to check him out as well. At least for a couple of snaps, it looks like we'll have to make a substitution with Jeremy Lucien factoring in somewhere, and shuffled the deck on the back end for this Ottawa defense against Alexander and the Owls. Backer coming over in free agency from Saskatchewan, Canadian from the University of Guelph. As he stares down Alexander, Allen will blitz. Alexander goes the opposite way, gets it out to Tyson Philpott, and called it. Jeremy Lucien on the field, makes the tackle in open space, and on cue, A.J. Allen right there to celebrate with him.
A lot of different motion, but at the end of the day, Tyson Philpott, one-on-one. Jeremy Lucien, just throw the hitch, locate it, get yourself 3rd and 1 for the big team. Dustin Crum come in.
I think that Jason Moss spent the last 4 minutes on the sideline trying to figure out how to isolate Lucien in some way, shape, or form against Tyson Philpott, right? Well, he got it, but he didn't get the first down, so in comes Dustin Crum with 3rd and a yard. Snap comes up.
Life of a short yardage quarterback isn't always fun. A lot of gains of 1 to 2 yards, and you get hit by a middle linebacker.
Well, especially when you got the educational background that guy's got, right. Dustin Crum, that we've detailed well if you're a diehard CFL fan.
Mechanical engineering? What was his?
I believe aeronautical. He's a NASA man.
He is a rocket scientist, actually.
As I try to dumb it down for myself, not for anyone else.
Rudesse, Ottawa numéro 1. On va avancer de 15 verges à la fin du jeu. Ça va être premier essai automatique pour Montréal. Roughing, Ottawa number 1. We'll go 15 yards from the end of the play. It's going to be automatic first down for Montreal.
Niles Morgan, an auto fire over the top in this ball game whenever Dustin Crum is in short yardage, but it costs him there.
Whether this was a blow to the head or is just something at the end of the play. Didn't get a visual of it. Puts the ball inside the 10.
We'll see what defensive coordinator William Fields will do to try and assist the Red Blacks offense that's held up their end of the bargain in this second half. Agili almost jumped offside. A hard count to get a look at the defense. Try to help out Stevie Scott to know where to go. And he runs right into a wall of Red Blacks tacklers.
C.J. Rivas does a good job helping out. Morgan's in there. Bottle up this run, create 2nd long. You know, Montreal offensively has got a lot of explosive plays. This is the area of the field they've struggled. 7th in the CFL, fewest trips in the red zone, sometimes because they're just throwing it past the red zone, but they're only 50% touchdown percentage down here, where you really got to finish with 7s.
Anthony Calvillo said they put a ton of work into the score zone, not great at it last year, especially inside the 10. He wanted to find ways to refine that. Let's see if they did. Alexander looks right, then back left, then tries to escape. Pressure on, running right, throws! Touchdown! Davis Alexander creates something out of nothing, like he seemingly always does, and it's Tyler Sneed on the receiving end.
This is what you hate about quarterbacks who have legs as a defender. He's about to throw the ball. It's covered. Then he starts scrambling. You're not sure what's happening. Do I come up? Do I come play the player? CJ Rivas, does he leave his defender? Leaves his defender. Tyler Snead's open with nobody around.
You ever see those little scuff up the end of the play here? I was getting Hemi Berglund. There's a lot of tempo in this ball game, but it's pretty obvious that Davis Alexander has the need for Snead here in week 4. All the way to the end zone. They find each other once again, and now Pimpleton. What a return for him. Instant offense.
Huge return by Pimpleton. You know, you got to be scared of this. Montreal has given up 2 return TDs in the CFL this year. I believe the only team to do that. And Pimpleton obviously starts upfield and then works to the wide side of the field. Great blocking, you can see. Just so patient, finding the space. He's such a dynamic playmaker. Flips the field, puts him almost 1 first down there in field goal range.
Late substitutions here after the 43-yard return from Khalil Pimpleton. Crowd into it. Trying to go outside handoff for Daniel Adamaboye. Turned back inside. And a wall of blue right there. Lowell Ugwak in the middle of the fray with Josh Archibald.
Like this Red Blacks team, still trying to mix in some run plays, not make themselves one-dimensional. Just the Alouettes defense really been very good stopping the run tonight. And this is the problem with some of these second and long packages. You're going to see so many different pictures and alignments from this defense.
Bear, quick drop over the middle. Justin Hardy running free through the secondary inside the 25-yard line. And the Red Blacks offense has completely changed their complexion from the first couple of weeks.
Justin Hardy breaks inside on the post versus man coverage. Actually 2 deep safeties, everybody else in man. Jake Mayer recognizes it, delivers a strike to Justin Hardy.
Pressure on, Mayer pumps, gets it away, and incomplete.
So I've called plays against Noel Thorpe in my years long enough to know that. Like, they just completed another big deep play, balls in line. He get in a bad mood, he's going to rush the passer. There is a max level blitz. They're bringing more protectors, which you call cover 0, because there's no help for the DBs, forcing his young defensive backs to hold up. Jake Mayer misses the throw out on the sideline.
Jake Mayer digs in, sets the motion, and they'll empty it out. Mayer backpedaling, throws it up the middle of the field, caught, big hit, but hanging on to it right in the middle of the action. Benjamin Victor with Nate Boschman barreling down on him. What a tough pitch and catch.
The exact same play that the Montreal Alouettes scored earlier in the game to Alex Hollins, just from a little bit closer to the line of scrimmage.
Gain of 19, catch. And they go tempo immediately. Mayer hands it off, trying to turn back inside, but losing his edge for just a moment, slowed his momentum, was Greg Bell.
Josh Archibald does a really good job. The hardest part for some of the blocking when you're in a spread set with these wide receivers is having to block defensive ends. Josh Archibald, 246 pounds, when you're trying to block him with the wide receiver can be difficult. He comes down and makes the play to stop this run.
These are the moments Jake Mayer wanted. Just 2 games started for Saskatchewan last year as he took a bit of a professional development year after his time in Calgary. Wanted these pressure moments. Well, it's on. Montreal, full blitz. Mayer into the end zone, up for grabs and caught. What a catch! Keelan White, the Canadian, rips it down.
Contact illégal sur receveur. Montréal numéro 7. La pénalité déclinée, c'est un touché pour Ottawa. Legal contact on the receiver. Montreal number 7. Penalty is declined. The result of the play is a score. Touchdown for Ottawa.
It starts with protection. You see all these bodies up at the line of scrimmage. Hold on, let's see though. You got all kinds of guys up there. Pressure off the edge. Tyrese Beverette's free. They're trying to get a piece of him, but you throw it up on the one-on-one. Hicks gets beat. Keelan White, a spectacular catch for Keelan White. one of the great young receivers going to be in this league. The Red Blacks love his abilities this season.
The talk coming out of training camp in Ottawa up the night that they finally end that streak for the Ottawa REDBLACKS. They're in contention. Plenty of work to do, as we know, in the final half of this second quarter, or the fourth quarter, as they have Tyrell Richards bumping his way back to the Alouettes sideline, and Davis Alexander will have something to say about that.
You won't get much different from this Alouettes offense now. You see the numbers have flipped. Jake Maier's got more passing yards, but Anthony Calvillo is going to continue to get the ball out of his hand quickly and then eventually take some shots.
Alexander, quick rep inside Tyson Philpott with nobody around him. They make it look so easy when they're on the same page, immediately across the 55 and into Ottawa territory.
When you're coming off, sometimes defenders are going to blitz off the edge. What do you do with your receiver? You replace the space. You can see it. Defender blitzing off the edge. Nobody underneath. So get the ball out of your hands when the defense is displaced. Philpott just sits down in that vacated area. Easy completion.
Quick pass here once again. Screen game. Tyson Philpott crosses to the 40. Fights for even more yardage. And with that catch, remember when we were going crazy after week 2 here at home against Toronto? He has now gone past that 193-yard mark that he had against the Argonauts. He's done it again this week.
This is what's hard about facing teams that do a lot. You've got a screen this way with linemen pulling this way, but you also have a screen this way. So which way you're going to go? You're going to fake a screen to the right, but then throw it back here, get your lineman pulling. You're separating the defense to give yourself more space for these wide receivers.
Montreal keeps driving and Ottawa keeps answering. Might be a career high for Philpott before we're done here on a Sunday night in Quebec. As Stevie Scott bounces to the outside, inside the 20, cuts back at the 10 and dives forward, wrapped up inside the 5-yard line.
Jeremy Lucien had an opportunity to make this tackle, but what you love about Stevie Scott, the Big Ten back at 230 pounds, 6'1", you better wrap him up. Low center of gravity. Okay, he's going to keep driving, bounces it outside, just miss, and he keeps it. You're not going to be able to bring him down with an arm tackle. Bounce outside for the big gain. Put the ball inside. Close to Dustin Crum time.
And the Alouettes call time. Davis Alexander frustrated. They couldn't get themselves situated with the personnel package. They sent in the heavies. It was Marco Dubois, Jacob Mason, Travis Tice in there as well. I think it might have been a little bit thrown off. Looks like Stevie Scott actually had to go to the sideline after that last play.
I think it's going to be a little bit wider. Yeah, it's at the 5, so probably a couple of yards before we get Dustin Crum to come in.
Base offense remains in for now. Anthony Calvillo did actually say this week that the only time in this season that he's felt like he's failed a little bit as a play caller is short yardage, not knowing whether to keep base or go heavy or how late to call it in. But regardless, after the timeout, they spend it there and they get themselves set. Scott the third watches from the sideline. Off to the left-hand side, and the play is so nice. They gave it to Tice. Touchdown, Alouettes.
Marshall, you've been saving that for a while, right? So nice it gave it to Tice. I like it, Marshall. Really great to have both Stevie Scott. He has to go out for a play. Who do you put in? Travis Tice. Just outstanding back. Great vision. Bounces it outside when there's no contained player. And makes the play on the outside when Marcus Barnes gets caught inside too far. No contain. Jumps it outside for the touchdown.
4 plays. 69 yards in just over 2 minutes. And an immediate response from the Montreal Alouettes. Point is missed. So Jose Montos Diaz, who was perfect coming into the ball game on field goals, misses the extra point. As we've got Kenzie Lalonde on the sidelines with more on the touchdown scorer, Travis Tice.
Yeah, so you'll notice Travis Tice has a new look this year. He's sporting number 5. 5's been the number he's worn since grade 3, all the way up to college in South Dakota. Because Travis's father, Rusty, was a massive George Brett fan, so it felt right for Travis to adopt that number. Tice family is from Pratt, Kansas, a town of about 7,000 people. And Dad Rusty and Mom Lindell are here today in the big city for just their second time to watch their son, and that one's got to feel good for this Tice family.
Amazing, Kenzie. Yeah, my favorite part of chatting with Travis this week ahead of this game was him saying, you know, we're from a small town. There's not a lot of people. My dad was actually kind of rattled just by getting on the bus from the airport to get to downtown Montreal. He's like, why are there so many cars? I don't get it. Big city living in Montreal, and their boy is making big plays late in this one.
Should have said, why is there so much construction here? Good
Why are all these roads closed?
Great response, like you said, by Montreal. Taking some time off the clock, nice drive. And again, getting the run game going.
Calvillo prepping himself for the next drive. Will it be one to seal the game potentially, or to answer whatever Jake Mayer and Ryan Dinwiddie have up their sleeve? First, the return. It goes to Adeboboye. 20 to the 30, and bouncing back across the green. Man, the patience on Adeboboye. He knew that he had a chance to break that one for the major.
Jake Mayer's completed 75% of his passes tonight. Been good locating the football. As we get a picture of Adeboboye. Great balance, great run back inside.
So Jake Mayer empty it out 3-by-3, and Mayer throws the deep out. Justin Hardy on the money, the receiver that, according to Aiden Eberhardt, the Red Blacks receiver room called the doctor with his precision on route running.
Great location. You're going to see him run a bench route. He's going to start up and then go right to the sideline, turn the defender. Jake Mayer throws it underneath. Wesley Sutton can't make the play if it's located, and it's located perfectly. And Justin Hardy's going to make that catch every time on the sideline.
So smooth, such great routes from Justin Hardy. Makes it easy on a quarterback, but this defense making it tough. Mayer answering the call in this one is caught and fighting to keep him stood up. Is Khalil Pimpleton, one-on-one right there with Robert Kennedy III.
Sometimes it's not always sacks with Montreal defense. They pressured there, and then Khalil Pimpleton is in a position where he's in a one-on-one outside. You got to wrap that. The DBs are in an island. They got to wrap it on one of the best returners in the league into the field. Really good stop by Sutton on the outside.
Mayer with pressure on, sidearm slings it. Yeah, not sure if that one was intended for anyone, but Mayer successfully getting it away from the oncoming rush of Isaac Adeyemi-Berglund.
See Berglund right there coming off the edge over Dino Boyd. It just looks like Jake's not ready to throw where he wants to on the left-hand side, so when he holds it too long.
Couple of yards to go. Jake Mayer answered the call for the touchdown to Keelan White recently. Can he do it here on third down? Waits, flag flies, and completes. It is Keelan White once again, but it looks like holding against the Red Blacks.
This will be
Retenu Ottawa 68, pénalité d'hiver. On va reprendre le troisième essai. Holding Ottawa 68, 10-yard penalty. We'll replay third down.
Mayer held it a long time, Lapo. It's the rookie, the top overall pick, Giordano Vaccaro.
see him at the right side of the screen as he's turning back, trying to get the block. He just turns around. You can see his right hand getting involved, so Gio gets the holding penalty, which is very difficult because it backs you up. You can't take a penalty there. A number of reasons. Now you're backed up. You can't even kick a field goal, right? So it forces you on a 3rd and 12 situation.
Downhill mindset from the Red Blacks, regardless of down and distance. Mayer over the middle of the field and running through the secondary. It's Justin Hardy. What a throw by Jake Mayer.
Clear the zone out and then send a player underneath into the space. You're going to have one going vertical, and then Hardy showing up behind it to be in a good position. You see him working outside and takes that space. Great throw on time and great catch by Hardy.
Another grab by Benjamin Victor here as he gets down around the 10-yard line. Another first down for the Red Blacks. Offense moving as they need to be after that third down conversion. And with the clock set to roll as soon as they get set and whistle in, Jake Maier already at the line of scrimmage, lined up and ready to roll. Keelan White to his right, back the other way and up in the air. Dangerously that time, looking for Justin Hardy on the backside.
Just a little bit behind for him. Ten yards away, you don't need it. You got 2 downs to get this, so you can get an underneath throw and then get it on the third down. Just a little bit behind, didn't have the body control to be able to pull that down.
Pressure coming on his right side, gets it away underneath. And great coverage by Jeffrey Canton-Arcou, who looks a little worse for wear after the collision with Aiden Eberhardt. But the Quebecois linebacker up onto his feet. And Maier will slowly walk to the sideline as the field goal unit comes out, wondering what could have been.
You could see the athleticism of Canton-Arcou here. He started in the line of scrimmage, ran out, played in depth. The quarterback doesn't see him in that space, and then he's able to make a play on the ball when it's thrown. Just outstanding athleticism at 6'4", 232 pounds.
Brett Lowther knocks it through the uprights, and we've got ourselves a 6-point ball game with 2:21 remaining in this fourth quarter. And Jake Maier readily moving the football. I wonder how much of the Chad Kelly film from a couple of weeks ago maybe watching, how much of the Cody Fajardo film watching last week with Edmonton being able to go up and down the field with Justin Rankin out of the backfield a couple of different ways. I mean, there's so much offense in the CFL right now. You got to think late in games. Well, the guys are looking at what the other teams are doing to find success and trying to incorporate that into their attack. Montreal's given up a lot of yards and a lot of points in this season. They set the standard this week. Tyrese Beverett with 17 points. They're at 28, nearing that 30-point mark once again.
And the key for this Montreal team is they've been able to, Davis Alexander, Tyler Sneed, Tyson Fulpott have been able to outscore teams. Where previous years, this Montreal defense was the best in the league at holding people out of the end zone. And you saw this offense was just kind of manage the football game. They were trying to manage games and not turn the ball over. Now you have one of the most explosive offenses in the Canadian Football League, and they can protect a young defense or a defense that's got a lot of injuries, especially at both corners right now.
See, Tyson Philpott got that swagger, ready to hit the field once again. He wants to go score right now. End this thing if he has the opportunity, as Mario Alford returns it across the 30 and pushed out of bounds. Can go anywhere. So Callender gets the flag, backs up Montreal. First and 15. Alexander keeps the football. Running to his left, pressure on from CJ Rivas and behind, and Alexander grabbing at his low leg at the end of the play. Bounces his way
Ottawa.
back to the huddle as the Red Blacks call time.
Barnesy, we got to.
And we'll get a look at the tackle here. If it was just maybe an ankle that got rolled up, it's actually A.J. Allen, not C.J. Rivas. But yeah, that right ankle got rolled up underneath, it looks like.
A.J. Allen, the highest paid linebacker, one of the big free agent signings for this Ottawa REDBLACKS team.
Well, Alexander is a warrior. He'll stay in and try to battle through. Remember, he took that shot on the knee earlier in this ballgame. I believe that was the left knee. This time it's the right knee / ankle. Lower leg that got wrapped up underneath A.J. Allen. And he stands in and looks to throw. Alexander over the top, drops it in the bucket. On the run to Tyler Sneed.
There's certain seams in a zone defense. You're going to put players in a position where they can't cover. Okay, he just runs by the player in this part of the field. I thought it was zone coverage because it was so wide open. It had to be man right there. Good Lord, he ran right by Bennett Williams. Bennett Williams in no position to make the play. He sees the seam, takes the throw up to Sneed. Great location, Davis Alexander. Great response with a bum ankle.
Yeah, keep in mind, couldn't really move. Not moving all that well right now, so kind of flat-footed. Just threw that one with all arm as they'll hand it off. Travis Tice. And a good pickup on first down. Montreal leaning on the ground attack here, maybe with their quarterback feeling a little worse for wear.
So the full clock will be expired here. They're going to continue to try to run the football. You'd love actually on 2nd and 2 here just to get a yard so you get a 3rd down quarterback sneak and you take more time off the clock and then kick a field goal if you don't get it. Or get the 1st down and run the clock out.
Again, handed off inside, and Ottawa's defense all over it. Leaders in the CFL and tackles for loss coming in to this ball game. As at the end of games, whether it was Edmonton week 1 or Toronto last week, teams trying to run it out. That's when the Red Blacks front has really feasted, and they will force the field goal unit onto the field as Bennett Williams from the secondary of the Red Blacks.
It's a long one,
up.
So you're just going to take the points here. Make it too difficult for the Red Blacks to come back with 1-18.
Not sure if Tyson Philpott will get another opportunity to catch a pass, but as it stands with this Jose Maltos Diaz field goal coming, and it hasn't made tonight, just 0 for 1, 48. Philpott has 12 catches for 198 yards. Expanding his league lead as Maltos Diaz with the hold from Joseph Zima. They might have missed the extra point after the Travis Tice touchdown. But Maltos Diaz money that time on the field goal attempt. 37-28. That guy has had himself a night, but it seems we're saying that every night.
It's been a consistent story in the Canadian Football League, and great to see.
I laughed talking to him a couple weeks ago where I said people were really concerned about your 40-yard dash time when you're coming out of the combine. He was like, yeah, but the thing is I run like a 4.7 all the way across the field. There's not a lot of people who will run it for 60 yards on a deep crossing route. He knew he was a gamer. He knew he was going to have success. And here he is leading the league in receiving yards. And it again, when healthy, arguably right up there with the very best, not just Canadian receivers, but receivers in the CFL the way this season's going.
And, you know, you talk all the time about receivers. He's a very intelligent football player, knows where to be in zone, knows how to leverage people in man coverage. So I always talk about this term about your 40 time. You know, if you're a 4.6, you run faster than a 4.6 when you know what you're doing.
Right.
When you don't know what you're doing, you run a 4.9. And this is a smart football player that has taken this team and made them one of the most explosive in the business.
You can tell from that smile, playing the game with a lot of joy as well, that infectious energy, not just the stats from Tyson Philpott, changing the way that their offense feels as the Red Blacks, again, trying to create something out of nothing. Khalil Pimpleton's got a little bit of a sliver. Now he's got more room, breaks it across the 50, and can he get one more block? Chasing him down from behind, nobody will touch him. Khalil Pimpleton, touchdown Red Blacks. They've been so close all night long, and they finally get one to the house. "93 yards and never a better time than the present."
The last return, which was a huge return, out to the 50-yard line. Khalil Pimpleton circled the whole defense, went to the wide side of the field. If you watch this one, he starts through that. Everybody plays contained to the wide side. He cuts it back in on the crease, and then the lower body strength takes over, and the speed and quickness to force the touchdown. The third return touchdown this Montreal special teams has given up this season.
Outstanding response from a team sitting at 0-2. And again, after the field goal, you could almost see the frustration on Jeff Reinbold and Ryan Dinwiddie's face, special teams coordinator, head coach for the Red Blacks, going, man, finally we got one, but damn, we haven't left ourselves much time to use it.
Yes, and now you have the difficult opportunity of trying to recover the ball with 41 seconds left.
Saw the onside games being played in Kelowna between the Lions and Stampeders. By the way, don't kick it towards a fill pot. That was what I learned watching Calgary as Sean White popped one into the air towards Tyson's twin brother, Jalen.
What a great play by Khalil Pimpleton. It just shows like his ability to put his foot in the ground, get north-south. You know, first in the CFL in combined yards coming into this game. Receiver, punt returner, kickoff returner, just spectacular return.
The Alouettes, not only the 11-game winning streak over the Ottawa REDBLACKS that Ottawa's dearly trying to finish off, also just hot in June through their first 3 games of a season since 2023. The Owls have been great with a combined record of 10-2 this year, 2-1 coming into this one after the overtime defeat to Edmonton last week.
As we keep seeing Khalil Pimpleton, one of the reasons Khalil Pimpleton's on this football team because he beat out a pretty good returner named Devontae Dedmon, who's actually on Montreal's sideline. Standing start to the career for Khalil Pimpleton.
Wilder lights it up, has to go 10, does, hanging in the air, and what do we say? Don't go to a fill putt.
Step.
Yes, a couple weeks ago on Friday.
Under 40 seconds, clock management, end of the game. New rule comes in, and the Alouettes, that was the frustration you saw from the REDBLACKS coaching staff. Kneel it out a couple of times and concede the final snap. As Jason Moss walks forward to congratulate his players, and Jake Mayer and Davis Alexander come together for a memorable one. It was close, it was competitive, it was feisty at times.